start.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Beans. Oh fuck. We're the Baked Beans Brigade podcast. Let's keep that shit in.
Cheers.
I'm V. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Getting fucking buzzed for the podcast. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Look yourself. This is V. Fucking live and direct.
Satan, having some cider.
I'm AJ the BJ. Just kidding.
And then your requests, people.
I'm pretty cheap, so it's all good. Pretty cheap. Don't cost too much.
Talk about spongy.
Yeah.
Oh.
All
Yeah,
right. So
fucking
this
stoked.
week.
We're gonna talk about a very special,
Fucking stoked.
the Sponge Daddy.
The Sponge Daddy, yeah. So we're not doing I don't recall this week like the previous episodes. We watched some SpongeBob and we're gonna tell you about it because I think it's actually a really important episode.
Yeah. So the episode's called Squid on Strike. Yeah. And just to kind of preface, because it is pretty awesome. Like I kind of changed the characters' names a little bit. Would it be cool to fucking just say what I came up with as I was high as balls watching the fucking episode? So it's like Squid on Strike, Sponge Lib, and Comrade Squid. So those are my character names. So
yeah,
it's pretty much what it is.
So I guess right off the bat. Yes, episode is great. Episode honestly
Worth watching,
but with a grain of salt, with a lot of grains of salt. Like it's liberal ass propaganda.
Yeah.
I fucking love this show. We all watched this shit when we were kids, and it's sad to come back and watch it and be like, God damn, this is just some fucking bourgeois propaganda that we just digested our entire childhood.
Yeah.
but it's a happy sponge.
It's a very happy sponge. Yeah. So fucking starts out with I don't remember the first scene. The only thing I remember is them like
They had to pay
Yeah,
to
exactly.
work there.
Yeah, so the like the first scene, like so it's all happening in the oppressive Krusty Krab in Under the Sea in Bikini Bottom at a restaurant. Fucking was it like a burger restaurant that they're
Yes.
And then Mr. Krabs, dude, literally the first words that are said is Mr. Krabs. He's counting his money. He's like, money, money, this, money, money, that. Profits will make my wallet fat. And I'm just like, oh, that's awesome. So that was the first opening fucking scene right there. It was great.
Yeah. And then he looks at his wallet and says, "Oh no, profits are down $3 from last month."
Yeah.
And this fucking prompts him to go and then charge Comrade Squidward, base Squidward, and Libbob.
Yeah, Sponge Lib.
Like literally, they gives him a fucking.
Yeah,
shit.
we're gonna have to bear with
This
us,
connection,
folks. The connection
All right.
sucks ass. My internet's slower than fucking smoke signals back in the fucking 1600s. Sorry.
We got very inconsiderate housemates we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. Some bullshit.
Some greedy Wi-Fi fans.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So yeah,
yeah,
go,
like
go back. Yeah.
they get charged for. Yeah, so they're getting charged for just for existing, like for breathing. Like Squidward gets charged by Mr. Krabs for breathing, and then like gives them a full list of standing there breathing, and like is literally charging them for existing.
Yeah.
And just
For being there.
for being there, for being at work, for standing.
Yeah.
Standing was something that Squidward was being charged for, despite being a fucking cashier where he has to stand in the same boat.
Yeah, and then Mr. Krabs is like, breathe on your own time. He's like,
And then he took a breath of air,
Yeah.
and then they were like, "Hey, I don't pay you to breathe."
Yeah. and then Comrade Squidward was like, you hardly
God.
pay us at all. And I was just like, fuck.
yeah. And this is before he actually hands him the sheet, and then he hands him an envelope and he's like, it's payday. And Squidward grabs like there's so much. I hate when just like the internet. I don't hate it that much, but when the internet just like makes something so like standard of a take, but it's true. Where like we all grew up wanting to be SpongeBob, but becoming Squidward. But fuck SpongeBob. SpongeBob is such a fucking bootlicker. Dude is
Oh, yes,
awful.
I was thinking the
He
same thing.
paid Mr. Krabs. Who the
Yeah.
fuck pays a fucking employer?
Yeah.
Hairdressers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like I guess that just brings up like comparisons in the workforce that we experience now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just yeah yeah, hairdressers and stuff, how they have to rent out their chair that they have
Mhm.
to pay their bosses for so they can make sure they get paid. That's the most fucked up sharecroppy shit. Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing with Uber. Like Uber does that same thing where like they'll get you a car money doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, that's what I mean with my partner. Fucking, that's one reason that they won't fucking. They don't want to go to salon because it's so expensive just to rent out a chair, and then it's like, oh man, only two of my customers came by this month. Like I'm shit out of money because I have to pay this goddamn fucking bougie person who's making all the profit just by renting the space. It's fucking ridiculous.
yeah. Yeah, like I guess one thing out of SpongeBob that is like nice, I guess, is that it does portray Mr. Krabs the boss as like one of the shittiest people in the entire fucking show.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, his greed. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so then after they get that bill, and then fucking bootlicker SpongeBob is coming up, counting his money to give to Mr. Krabs. And then like Squidward pulls him aside. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you gonna give him this money?" And he says like, "Do you like working here? Yeah. Do you want to keep working here? Yeah. Do you want Mr. Krabs to respect us?" I think that was the last one.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." It's like, "We gotta go on strike." And it's like, those are three just like that's how you fucking. That is definitely how
That
you
is the
radicalize.
motto.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you radicalize the fuck out of your coworkers. Like
Yeah.
I've gone on a union drive before. It was unsuccessful, but it's pretty easy. Just like, hey, not being able to pay for healthcare fucking sucks, right? And they're like, yeah, that does suck. Yeah, that's pretty much all you got to do to like. People don't like dying. I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking
Yeah.
in my workplace. It's just
Use
kind of
that big thing to your advantage.
yeah. That shit sucks. In my workplace, it's It sucks too because like I'll be speaking about all this knowledge, like yeah, dude. If we just like all consolidate together and ask for like one thing, people are like, oh, I don't know about that. Like I might lose my job. And that's what happens in that next scene is SpongeLib and Comrade Squidward to like lose their job, and SpongeBob's like super surprised. It's like, oh man, I didn't know I was gonna lose my job. No, it's like, yeah, dude, like that might happen. I mean, it's fucking illegal, but
Yeah.
it definitely
And
is a fucking chance.
Yeah, it's so illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like all of fucking Mr. Krabs, like, all of his work practices are so bad. No labor relation board jurisdiction reaches down there,
Yeah.
but
But if they did,
if they did, they still probably would not do anything about it.
Yeah. Wait, hold on,
but
dude.
yeah,
My
like the
fucking internet connection, like, is fucking sucking ass.
yeah,
God damn.
that's great. All right, so where are we picking up from?
That was a whistling fucking open of a beer.
Yeah, it's the Guinness, so you know you gotta like crack it a little bit and then open it to
Yeah.
release the steam.
True. Let's see.
So
Oh yeah, so
just
we
going with it.
so we left off at where they get fired. Yeah, we'll just fucking pick up. Sorry, folks, we fucking had technical difficulties, and my fucking internet sucks massive bags of dicks. So like it just like I don't know, shit the bed and like couldn't hear V or Satan. So hopefully it gets better and it stays fine. Goddamn stupid internets. But yeah,
All right, so yeah,
they get fired.
they get fired. Very illegal. Like if that shit happens to you and you're trying to start your labor movement, contact IWW or a labor lawyer, something along. That's a fun word to say, labor lawyer.
Yeah, there's local chapters
Yeah,
all over the fucking United States. Doesn't matter
And the
where.
world.
Yeah, and the world, true. So you're protected from it, which is in my field of work. Like I've heard rumors that like people got blacklisted, and like I mentioned, I was like, hey, you know that's illegal to do, and you actually can contact people to do it. People like turn their heads. They're like, oh shit, I didn't know that. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
my company is.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm an archaeologist, and like we just fucking. Dude, I'm forever on call. I've been working for this company. It's been 3 years. I'm still an on-call fucking dude. I have a bachelor's degree. I have like 3 or 4 different types of like associate's degree that are specific in my field. And it's just, I don't know. I'm shit out of luck. And I'm like, I don't know, did as best as I could. And still, nobody gets benefits. No, we were joking the other day. People were like, I was like, oh yeah, talking about 401k, don't want to tie it to the market. I mentioned that shit, of course. And one of the guys was like, 401k, that's my favorite radio channel. He's like, I don't know what the fuck that shit is. I was like, yeah, dude, sounds about right for archaeologists. No, but he was joking around like he knew like it was bullshit. It was like, yeah, I'm never going to see that shit in my lifetime as an archaeologist. And it's just like, luckily some people understand, but I mean, people get cold feet when they're like, oh shit, I could lose my job. Or people already been put an example of that shit, even if it's illegal. But yeah, anyway. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Just that lighthearted note.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Great.
Bootlegger SpongeBob is just like putting his face against the window of the Krusty Krab because he's just like crying and shit that he lost his job. It's just fair that you lost your job and you're upset. But it's fair to be upset that you lost your job
if you
because
loved it,
like,
especially if you loved it. Like he fucking loved
well, I
that
mean,
shit.
just
Even though he was
that's true, but also
deep-throating
like
that
having to
boot
pay rent.
still.
Yeah.
How's he gonna pay for his pineapple?
Yeah. So keep this
That's
pesticides
true.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, how hasn't that thing gone bad yet? But
The salt water.
it's true.
The salt water preserves it. Actually, yeah, in archaeology, it preserves fucking organic material. So maybe
It's a good brine.
yeah,
Good
brine.
Yeah, so like he's crying and then Squidward's comforting him and shit, and he's like, no, like you're not just gonna suck Mr. Krabs' boot off and he's gonna give you this new job. Like, you gotta stand up for yourself. And like, Squidward is the coolest fucking dude in this entire episode, and really plays in that thing that I was talking about earlier with Squidward being like who I feel like we should strive to grow up to, like
Be Squidward.
yeah,
This
be
is Be Squidward. Should be like a bumper sticker or fucking hashtag Be Squidward.
Yeah, like that.
In a world full of Bobs, be a Squidward.
It's perfect. Damn, in a world full of Bob. In a world full of Bob. That's fucking awesome.
But, yeah, so then they start making like picket signs and shit, and that's that's cool.
When
I've probably seen that.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. No, you finish. My bad.
No. It's all you, H.
I was just gonna say that like once right before they start making the signs, like Squidward says specifically, like Mr. Krabs will realize he needs us more than we need him. He's like, we are workers united, and that's where he screams that.
Yeah.
Shit. And it's like amazing background, like marching music behind, like everything he says. It's super fucking Marxist. It's fucking so great.
And
Super
powerful.
pro union. Yeah. And then so like they Squidward's trying to get SpongeBob to fucking make picket signs, and it's just hilarious because fucking it's like, oh, like this, Squidward, picket fence. It's like, oh, like this, and it's like some finger picking a nose. It's like, oh, what about like this? It's like Krusty Krab Fun Fair. And then it's like, that made me think of when we went to go protest after Trump got elected, and all the lib signs that we saw. I was just like, oh, you guys don't know how to protest. And then some lady was like, oh, I want you to put your sign down, because it was like, fuck Trump, I think.
No, it was fuck fascism.
Oh, fuck fascism. That's what it was. Yeah. And she's like, it's like, oh yeah, that's not a very kind word. I'm a elementary school teacher. And I was like, so? She's like, can you put your sign down? And I was like, no.
Yeah, that shit was dumb. So there's like a couple of anarchists that showed up, and like not like black bloc or anything, but like carrying a black flag. And somebody walked up to these people and was like, hey, is that an ISIS flag? But it was just a blank black flag. It's like, these are the fucking people, like
it was a fucking super
liberals.
liberal person. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a fucking liberal person. It wasn't not like some right wing dude just being dumb. It was like, dude,
It
these
was
are
a
people
different right wing
supposedly,
person.
yeah,
The
supposedly
right
on
wing
our
of the
side.
left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right wing of the left.
Speaking of fucking liberals, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, fuck that person.
Yeah.
Fuck that judge.
Rest in piss.
Yeah, rest in piss.
Nice.
If you say ACAB, all cops are bastards, but support judges, you do not understand what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Judges and cops are literally on the same fucking side.
The sooner you get that, the sooner you'll be better off.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a tweet that actually was put out, like, in all seriousness. It was like, I just told my 5-year-old that RBG died, and she started crying and then did the Wakanda salute and said Ruth Conda forever. And that's
Oh
the
my god.
fucking hate liberals so much.
That shit
Like,
hurts my soul. Like just
Are you sad that she passed?
no. That too. Very sad. Very shocked. Didn't
Dude,
expect
also,
that.
this is another thing. It was in New York where there's an indigenous tribe trying to get back their land that was stolen from them,
Nuh-uh.
and and they're trying to get it back. And then she said, like, the original fire of like sovereignty that the indigenous people had is no longer theirs, so like it won't be upheld or some fucking
What the
gross
fuck?
like, yeah, colonial like fascist shit. Yes, fuck that bitch. Like,
Hell
rest
yeah.
in piss.
Yeah.
Like,
Rest in poo and piss.
yes, there you go. Rest in poopy. Yeah, it's called City of Sherrill, New York versus Oneida Nation. Yeah,
That shit sucks.
bullshit. Look that shit up, people. And before you comment or say any awful things, like she was Queen Slay. Like, stop. All right, stop. Just
Yeah.
stop.
Goodbye.
But-
Yeah.
So going back to Squidward being
Yep.
cool, SpongeBob being a fucking being a little bitch. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the first thing that SpongeBob says when he finally has a correct picket sign that says, "Was it just 'cause you crab unfair?" And he's like, "Mr. Krabs is standing in there, standing at his concession, plotting his oppression." I was like, "Nice." And then some dude off the street was just like, "Hey, what does that mean?" He's like, "I don't know. Squidward told me to say that." I was just like, "Oh, nice."
Yeah.
Don't care.
So shitty.
Yeah, I hate that, like, Squidward or SpongeBob. I keep on mixing them. SpongeBob is
Sponge lib.
SpongeLib Lib Bob Lib Bob Voter Pants.
Lib Bob Biden pants.
There we go. There we go. That, like, he's like portrayed to children and us when we were children, because we grew up watching this shit, as like the good guy. Especially in this episode, it's very annoying to watch when Squidward is actually on the correct side this entire fucking time.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy just was it the guy that immediately after is like, what does that sign mean? Does he just like go back inside? I forgot, because there's like multiple
Yeah, so
people that
like
come up.
he says that he's like, "I don't know," and then he's just like, "Oh, awesome." He's like, "You're SpongeBob, right?" And it was like the teenager dude with the teenage fish with the braces,
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
he's just like, "It's like, oh, cool." He's like, "What am I making this out to?" He's like, "I'm taking your job," and the guy's like, "Took your job," and he like goes
Yeah,
inside the
fucking
Krusty Krab,
Yeah,
and then SpongeBob's just like, "Oh fuck," and then Squidward says, "He's like, you let your replacement cross our picket line without a threat." I was just like,
Yeah.
"Hell yeah, Squidward!"
Yeah. Fuck yeah, Squidward.
Dude,
They used to beat the shit out of scabs, and that's like, what?
What other message do you want to send?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll go into that shit later after we explain the episode, but
yeah.
yeah. So, and then
So yeah, right after that, like after SpongeBob fucks up again, Squidward turns to SpongeBob. He's like, "Hey, why don't you just go over there?" He's like, "Over here, Squidward." He's like, "Yeah, a little more," and he hides behind like a fucking telephone pole. I was like, dude, I want to do that so bad to every lib in the way, like protesting, especially
Yeah.
today. It's just like, yeah, go Biden. That's why I'm out here protesting. I'm like, you go fuck yourself, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Like, you're doing no good to anybody.
Shout out. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to not fucking around for fucking around with pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that org.
If you don't know about Not Fucking Around Coalition, I think that was what they're called. They're like a group of supposedly black militants that were like
Misogynists, transphobes, shitty people who worked with the fucking pigs, coordinated with the pigs.
yes, you probably saw them like walking to like Confederate monuments and stuff, like everybody completely armed, everybody in all black. Like when I first saw that, I was like, fuck yeah, that's dope as shit. That's exactly what we need to be doing.
Upon further research.
Exactly. They're working with the pigs and like just yeah. Very disappointing.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's breaking news. I'm not onto interwebs, so that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very sad because of it. This is why I'm in my second beer.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, that's fucking disheartening. Like, dude, they had a good chance at fucking doing something good, but they done fucked it up.
Yeah.
They took their jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, like I had a coworker that was like on the fence and shit when I was trying to do my union drive, that like I won't I don't know how I feel about the union. I need like a whole sheet that'll tell me like what the benefits are and what the cons are. And it's like, this is literally us deciding what we need to take. Like, this isn't going to be some bullshit about like, there's going to be set things that will be given, that won't be given. It's like, this is a fight like against our bosses, against the owners of this company.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need to get this shit through your head. And this person was also like a lib that was like barely getting on the Bernie Sanders train.
Oh shit.
And in like 2020, so it's like
it's kind of a struggle for me because with my work and shit, like as archaeologists, we work hand in hand with like any of the local Native Americans descendants to the stuff that we're working with as archaeologists. So we're looking at material culture, so all that types of good stuff. But in order to look at that, us archaeologists have to have somebody who's a direct descendant of a Native American ancestor in the region. And so if we strike, it'd be cool to get them all together. But there's a lot of natives just don't like. We're not so close to them, so like that's just historically because it was like we kind of butt heads for such a long time that nowadays we're starting to get a little bit closer as far as to feeling the same struggle as like fucking not getting paid for the same shit that we're doing, and it's kind of a lot. So it's kind of hard there, but yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's gonna be hard, but we just gotta fight and fucking continue to convince people that fucking unionizing is the right way for everybody in the workplace.
We can help do that by showing people things like this fucking SpongeBob episode.
Yeah, that'll be the breaking point for some people. So
there we go.
So there, on to the amazing episode. So yeah, so after SpongeBob goes and hides like a fucking true lib, fucking hides, then Squidward has this like amazing fucking speech, and like I have it here. I made sure to screenshot the fucking script if like you want me to read it. So yeah.
Yes, let's go ahead.
Give me your favorite segment. Yeah.
Wait. Okay, just stall for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. No problem.
Also, shout out to the Kumeyaay Land Defense for
I saw that shit.
Taking their time, their lives, and a lot of energy out fighting against all the assholes and Karens out there.
Yeah.
'Cause that's not for the weak.
Yeah, so that's what we face, like that situation. If y'all seen that, like we're working out in construction sites with these fucking right wing fucking people, mostly from like Temecula region or like Eastern County, and they just don't give a fuck about anything that we're about. So it's just, I mean, we're fucking trying to protect history that's gonna be wiped out from underneath, like people that fucking they get taken advantage of. It sucks. So yeah, definitely a shout out. But yeah, what was that? So yeah, with Squidward?
Squidward?
Squadward?
The guy with the face and the arms?
The guy with the penis for a nose?
Fucking
Yeah.
Squad, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
He
yeah.
is red.
He likes Squidward. He
Yeah.
likes Squidward.
So yeah, like
Alright, what was the monologue?
So the monologue was Squidward stands up on his soapbox with a loudmouth thingy. Goddamn, what is it called? I'm stoned.
Megaphone.
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 Yeah. And Squidward says this, verbatim. It says, "The gentle laborer shall no longer suffer from the noxious greed of Mr. Krabs. And we will dismantle oppression board by board. We'll saw the foundation of big business in half, even if it takes an eternity. With your support, we will send the hammer of the people's with crashing through the windows of Mr. Krabs' house of servitude." Yeah, and then everybody cheers. The whole crowd around him cheers. And then they're like, "Oh boy, I'm hungry." And so they like trample over Squidward. He tramples over him. And Squidward says, after trampling over him, "Nobody cares about the fate of labor as long as they could get their instant gratification."
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for. I gotta give you applause for that monologue.
Yeah, the Squidward log. That mono squid.
Yeah.
Shout out to Comrade Squidward.
Yeah. That whole speech, just like I was watching that shit and just like, what the fuck? Like, this is genuinely good speech. Like, the next union drive, I might just fucking just
Quote him.
Yeah, dude,
to
seriously.
quote Comrade Squidward.
Yeah.
Commissar Squidward.
Comandante Squidward.
Yeah, hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and just that last little quip about it, like, that was fucking great. And it sucks that so hard that like Squidward is portrayed as like
Sad negative boy.
Sad negative boy, yeah, sad boy, sad labor boy, because like nobody cares about the fate of labor, and like as long as they can get their instant gratification. That's such a fucking, like, especially in this case of a strike, like fucking the Amazon strike that went on relatively recently, where they occupied the building, and then they were just like playing music, and they played the song 5 Million Ways to Kill a CEO by The Coup. The Coup's a great socialist rap group that y'all should check out. But yeah, and they blocked all the cars from leaving, like all the delivery trucks from leaving, and just like completely had the shutdown. And it's like, that's such a great fucking action. But people are going to be, and probably were, super pissed that they didn't get their Prime delivery that next fucking day. And that's
to their house on their couch.
yeah, and yeah, that line is so great. Like, I just, probably one of the best lines in the entire episode.
Yeah, and then so after that, like, Mr. Krabs shows up and he's like, "I can't thank you boys enough for helping my profits and everything. You guys are bringing a lot of attention out there, and they're just coming straight to my hands."
They're eating straight off my hands.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Crabby claws.
Yeah.
So then, like, SpongeBob comes up, finally has some solidarity.
And, yeah,
and he's like, that was amazing, Squidward. I'm okay with striking with you, even if it means we're out here forever.
Yeah, and it's like flashbacks of like Squidward can't close his eyes because he hates his neighbor. Just like, God damn it, Squidward. The one thing that he agrees with you on, like, your hate just overcomes you. It's like, come on, man. Finally got the person. Yeah, I was gonna say, you finally got the person you hate the most to agree with you. You should take that for what they fucking, like, you take that shit with you to the grave. Like, don't.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So then I'll go home after that.
And then they take a little sleep.
Try to take a little sleep. And then, like, Squidward still can't fucking go to sleep because he's too mortified of thinking about, like, being on strike with SpongeBob forever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I gotta
talk to Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, he breaks the strike because he couldn't handle it. And, like, we get it, people. Like, breaking your strike because you can't handle it. It's like, that makes sense. Like, you gotta fucking pay your bills and you gotta get food and stuff. And if you don't have, like, enough support through your union or through, like, starting up a union, and that makes sense to break. That's fucking hard. Yeah, that's the, like,
when you're 50% of the labor force.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, he just doesn't want to fucking hang out with SpongeBob for a little bit more. So that sucks ass. So it's like, this is the part where, like, I was 100% down with Squidward this entire episode until it gets to that point. It's like you just gotta fucking hold out a little bit longer.
Yeah, dude,
And he opens the door. Here's Mr. Krabs. Who's gonna beg?
Who's also, both of them are in their like pajamas, like they're about to just go outside in their pajamas to talk to their fucking
from like
coworkers.
1920, the 1920s attire.
Never heard of lingerie?
Yeah, with the little Christmas hats, little Santa Claus hat.
Yeah, sleeping hat.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, and
it's cold in the sea.
Yeah,
I guess so, huh?
Yeah, and so yeah, then Mr. Krabs is like, I can't go on because these teenagers are horrible. Like I can't stand them. They're ruining my business.
They're following me everywhere.
Yeah, and so like this, what is one good aspect of this entire episode that shows that striking does work. Striking makes your boss crumble. Striking makes the owners crumble, because like you're the one that makes the money. Like
yeah,
your boss misses a day at work, then that means you fuck around for an extra like 15-20 minutes in your job, but you still get your shit done.
Yep, exactly.
If all of
if
the
not better,
don't,
if not better too sometimes, because you have the fucking, especially if a boss that micromanages the shit out of you. Next day he's not there and you go do your work. I was like, oh man, we got so much more done today than if the fucking boss was here. It's like fucking incredible.
And if you and all your coworkers don't show up to work, then nothing gets fucking done.
And the
your
boss
needs
fucked.
you.
Yeah, needs you more than we need him. Exactly.
So yeah, and then Mr. Krabs breaks and is like, okay, what do you need? And then him and Squidward go on a walk to do their negotiations, which is cool as fuck. Like I was so happy when that part happened, but I was really sad because I've seen this episode like 3,000 times from being a kid. So I knew it was coming next.
Yeah, but yeah, that was awesome. Like that Squidward shows up. So they're walking. The next time you see him, it cuts to but so they're negotiating, and in the meantime, as they're negotiating at night, SpongeBob decides that he's gonna have a fucking ball. So it cuts to the scene where so after as they're talking, and Mr. Krabs is like, I got a feeling in the pit of me wallet, as they're negotiating, which is like great, he's gonna get fucking better pay and shit, and hopefully fucking some benefits.
Paid.
Yeah, actually get paid. Yeah, fucking so slaving away at Krusty Krabs, like Jesus. And then so it cuts to SpongeBob, and then SpongeBob's like, gee, being on strike with Squidward sure is a kick. Squidward's words are still buzzing around in my head like an angry jellyfish. And he gets super confident, and he's like, Squidward was right. I can't just sit here. It's time for action. And so he like comes out of his house and like marches down to the Krusty Krab again in the middle of the fucking night. And he shows up and he's like, I will restore the working man to his rightful glory. And he goes inside, busts the door inside. I will dismantle this oppressive establishment board by board. And he's literally tearing the boards like of the bottom of like the Krusty Krab. I was like, hell yeah, dude, it's a metaphor, but all right, good for you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and I will saw the tables of tyranny in half. And he saws the big Krusty Krab tables in half. And he's like, nah, the ankle's a big business. And then he takes a munch out of like the foundation of Krusty Krab, like the middle stud that's like holding the whole establishment up. And with a mouthful of like fucking wood in his mouth, he's like, Squidward would be so proud. And this is when it cuts back to when the morning time after SpongeBob just went to town on fucking the Krusty Krab. And it's a morning time, and Squidward and Mr. Krabs, somehow they changed into regular attire. I don't know if you noticed that. They were in sleeping wear, and then they got dressed to their regular attire. But it seems like they negotiated through the whole night, which was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. It wasn't just like, okay, we got what I wanted, and I'm happy. It's like, dude, that took a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And Squidward's quote is like, I'm glad you finally see things our way. And it's like, that's what you should say in any fucking union negotiation with your boss. Like, that's how it should end. If it doesn't, then something fucked up. You didn't fuck up, but something fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, after that, then Mr. Krabs is convinced, like, okay, cool, I'll get my workers back. My establishment will actually be functional again. And Mr. Krabs closes his eyes. He's like, do. And Squidward stops in mid-walk towards the Krusty Krab because he sees that SpongeBob went full hard fucking 2020 on Krusty Krab
One
and like
hand.
just like burned that shit to the ground. It was fucking amazing. I was like, hell yeah, SpongeBob. Fuck yeah. And then Mr. Krabs walks into a broken establishment, not even noticing, goes to his office and sits down and just fucking melts. And
Yeah, and it says you're gonna work for me forever, implying that they're now slaves.
yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like this entire episode ended. It's like you're now slaves, and it's like that was so fucking sad. We're just like there's fucking skeletons. Like Squidward is just like sweeping the floor of a dusty ass Krusty Krab. That's like, and they're just skeletons because they work there for forever.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was a fucking episode. Like SpongeBob is such a bootlicker. It's so sad.
Yeah.
So sad to see your faves are problematic as an adult.
Yeah.
Cowards.
Coward.
Fucking cowards.
Yeah. So I guess like just going back really short to the breaking down the Krusty Krab, like that was bad tactics. Like that's all I gotta say. Just
Yeah. Because he already
It's like-
negotiated. He already
Yeah,
fucking
he
he already
already-
agreed to terms. So like everything was solved.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But that is not at all to say that burning down a factory isn't a bad idea in labor history. I'm not saying you
Yeah.
should go do that. I'm just saying historically speaking, that's not a bad idea.
That and it was
don't do it.
fucking that and it was terrible timing. If you already fucking actually established a fucking coherent like thing with the uppers, the fucking bourgeois of your company, like yeah, let it be, like continue from there. At least they're negotiating, but like bad timing, SpongeBob. Like that should have happened way earlier than how this fucking
Bad fucking
episode.
timing. Yeah, like
Which is
I
every.
did a little.
Yeah.
No, go.
I was saying this is every SpongeBob episode. You're like yes. Oh.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I did do like a little bit of research for this just because like I'm a fucking communist. I understand that us as laborers, like the 99% of us that are laborers, if you're a fucking boss or an owner, you can go fuck yourself and stop listening to this podcast. But please donate to our Patreon when we get one. But yeah, so I just wanted to do a little research into like labor history. And so like one thing that I did, it like parallels a little bit with this one that happened. And it's actually pretty cool because it's the first factory labor strike, I guess white people labor strike that happened in the US, and it happened in 1824. And so factories did get burned down that time, and then shit got actually done, and that's just cool as fuck to think about. Like it's not actually very widely talked about. It's called is in the city Pawtucket, Pennsylvania, I believe. Probably something like that. Yeah, Pawtucket. But it just shows Ew. No besiality on this podcast.
Yeah. Sorry.
Slipped it in.
Just slipped it in.
Oh god. Let's go further.
But yeah, so like just to like point out how awful bosses are. So just like the reason that this whole strike started is because like the Industrial Revolution just started moving and like advancing further into the US. And it's like, yes, this is a learning podcast, people. Like we're not just talking about fucking Nicolas Cage and 9/11 and shit.
The Cage Rage 9/11 Part 2.
We're going to school. So so the bosses were using child labor to like sew linens and stuff.
Sell Lennon.
Sell state and
Nice.
revolution were using children. No, yeah,
Sounds American.
yes. So they had like these looms that these children would use, but then like the steam engine came along, and
Hot and heavy.
hot and heavy, and then they like made it easier and faster for the looms to move, but the looms did move
Mhm.
faster, making it more dangerous for children.
I remember this.
Yeah, so naturally the bosses were like, we can't have children doing this is ridiculous, we need to get teenagers. So they got a bunch of teenage women to do this shit, and fucking dangerous as shit because just a loom just flying back and forth, just doing its thing, losing fingers and all that stuff, and they're not getting paid very much more than children. So this shit's going on, and then the year 1924 that this happens, the city of Pawtucket makes a law declaring that they're adding one more hour onto the workday, like adding an hour into the workday. Think about that fucking shit. Imagine like you're coming back home
from a 16-hour day.
Yeah,
16-hour day.
16-hour day.
Fuck it, 17. And these are just kids. They said teenagers. They kept on referring to them as women and shit when I was learning about this. But like, these are kids. These are fun kids. 13 years old. You're a woman at that age, like in the 1800s.
Yeah, you already have 4 children.
Life expectancy. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You have your 4 children work in the mines because they can't work with the looms anymore.
Yeah, come out the womb just working, fucking fiddling.
Yeah, when they're that small, they fit really nice in those little mining holes.
Oh, that's true. I haven't tried that.
That's
Facts.
But yeah, so like they add another hour onto the working day, and then they decide to cut, and this is for the entire town. And then they decide to cut back on the hours, or not on the hours, on the pay 25%. So they cut back your pay 25%, add another hour, and these people are fucking pissed. Understandably, they already work in horrible conditions because it's the fucking 1800s.
Yeah.
So like, they just start leaving. They go on strike and they talk about it. And this is actually a strangely documented strike because
it's mostly children striking too. That must have been crazy.
Well, I mean, it was like, yeah, so it's like teenage women striking, but it was
children
documented weird because yes, children, teenage girls striking. Just learning this put that fucking language in my brain, and I'm sorry about that.
First blood.
But, fuck, where was I?
They were striking and
they
shit.
were angry.
Striking, my bad.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, so they're striking, and they all just left the factory, and then like, it was weirdly documented. That's what it was. It was weirdly documented because like there weren't any like letters and stuff from the workers about this. There were only letters from the bourgeoisie. There's only letters from the owners class explaining this whole situation. So us as like Marxists, us as communists, socialists, anarchists, and whatever you identify yourself as, we need to read between the lines of what these dumbass fucking owners are saying and what is actually going on.
Yeah. So
like, this is a weird thing where even like, where I learned this from is this guy that like worked at the Pawtucket Museum of Labor History or something like that, and he didn't even know about this. He had to learn about this shit from somebody else.
God damn.
Like, that's how little known this strike actually is. I'm sorry that I'm explaining it bad, but I'm not a historian. I play with weed all day. Science.
You're a weed storian.
Yeah, weed storian.
You store weed in a facility.
Exactly. Okay, so
could you imagine being one of those kids? Imagine like coming home and like me and you being brothers and shit and be like, "How was your day in the mines?" And you're like, "Oh, lost a finger or two, but it was fine."
Third of my lung work.
Yeah. So, my lungs, are they black enough? No, not black like mine. It's dying every day. Like, all right, I'm gonna get 4 hours of sleep and go back to work.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wearing a full little kid suit.
Sharing a bed with a cow and a goat.
Yeah. It's my mine and sleeping suit.
Pajama jobbies.
She's wearing that same hat that Squidward was wearing in the last episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like this strike happens, and they actually coordinate it throughout the whole town of all the like the milling town or the milling factories. And like, so what they do is like, this is back in the time when rich people lived really close to the factories. Like they could actually look at the factories. So they burned those fuckers down.
Hell
it was cool as shit. Yeah. So they're just doing this.
It's lit.
It's fucking lit.
Children
like
just being children.
Yeah.
Breaking shit.
Girls will be
Collectively.
girls.
Collectively breaking shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Been
Board
there.
by board.
Board by board.
Yeah, and then they eventually did work their way around to burning down factories, and
Hell
that was
yeah.
just all this like labor history, and like y'all can like learn more into this, and like this is just the
We'll be so proud.
Yeah.
we'll be so proud. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I just wanted to get this out there because like
Yeah, train your
all this
children how to
just-
burn shit down.
exactly.
Good.
Great little arsonist.
Except if
No,
you're near
seriously.
California. Make sure it's controlled and there's firefighters around. Like, hey, I'm going to do this. Make sure there's a message out.
No
Yes.
gender reveal.
Yeah, no gender
gen-
reveals
yeah.
in California allowed. All our kids are trans. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to say all this because it's like there are success. Oh yeah, and they immediately got their payback and shit. They rolled back that hour in the day, so this worked out. You can successfully burn down your fucking place where you work. Historically speaking, and I'm not saying doing this because that's bad.
Yeah.
You can burn down your factory. You can burn down other people's. Right? You can burn down your boss's house and then get your shit back because they do.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, this is a comedy podcast. I think sometimes, but right now I'm being
Realistic funny.
funny.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as you have like a set idea of like, hey, what you want from it, like it's specific, like asking for. If you're just like doing like, oh, burn shit down. What do you want? Oh no, just cool to fucking burn shit down. Like you gotta have a motive.
Yeah.
And a set was like, hey,
Yeah.
you fucking do this shit, or we're gonna burn shit down. And if your boss is like, no, we can't do that. All right, cool. We're just gonna burn this shit to the ground until you fucking give us what we need and what we want. Not just what we want, but what we need, like fucking healthcare and actual
They're coming
livable
for your
wage
head,
and
Jeff
shit.
Bezos.
Yeah, hell yeah, King Bezos now.
Metaphorically speaking,
Yes.
you'd like to take your head and draw it onto a piece of paper
Yes.
with things around it. Yeah, so they're just saying like that you can't like SpongeBob wasn't wrong-ish. He just didn't have good strategy. Strategy
Yeah,
is
strategy's key.
fucking
It's everything. Exactly.
Yeah, and there's another point, like going back to the episode that we were discussing earlier, when Squidward is like, he threw his hat down to the ground because he said it was a symbol of our oppression, and he
Mhm.
stomped that shit into the ground.
Fuck yeah.
And a police officer came in,
Oh yeah.
and when Squidward said, "Didn't you see what I did to my hat? I threw it on the ground." He's like, "Oh, a confession," and they wrote him a ticket. So, like in this same action in Pawtucket, this actually is what created your local police forces. Police
Mm.
weren't always here, so don't give me that shit when we say we need to abolish the police. That like, well, it's always been like this. It fucking hasn't.
Just like
like,
ICE.
because of-
ICE has always been here. Dude, they've been here fucking post 9/11.
Yeah, 2003.
Yeah.
Like, so
They're
Yeah.
babies.
they're babies.
Take them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the police were actually created in like local police were created because of this like Pawtucket strike and burning down buildings, burning down the owners' homes and shit because they're like, we need to keep these laborers in check. And that's the entire reason that local police forces were started in the United States.
Fucking makes
Like,
sense. Keep you in place, do your
or-
work, fucking stay in line, and don't fucking complain.
Exactly. I just wanted to give that broader like
Yeah.
context around labor history and like where we've come from as a nation in the United States, like what our first labor strike looked like. It wasn't like it wasn't your standard thing that you think of where it's like burly men working in a mine that
It's
like,
children's.
yeah, it's children. It's
Hello,
teenage girls-
children.
yeah, it's teenage girls setting shit on fire. Like it's cool as fuck.
Dude. That fucking... Imagine how fun that would have been, especially as a kid. You want to throw rocks through a window? Fuck yeah, I do. Just stoked. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're getting in trouble by my parents? Hell no, they gave me up fucking when I was 5. But yeah, that shit would have been fun.
Yeah, that sounds fucking awesome.
I have a story about burly men.
Nice. Hell yeah.
They're
My
burly
fave.
immigrant men. Yeah, so I'm gonna take you back to 1897.
Some more labor history for you, folks.
Yep. The time where J.J. Thomson worked on the cathode ray tube when he
And
figured
cathode?
out basically like how to make a TV happen.
Oh,
But
I thought you
like,
were talking about things that you stick in your dicks because you gotta pee.
No.
Oh, shit.
Those are
That's
catheters.
Yeah.
We're talking about cathode ray tubes, and those were made in
Stick those in
1897
your dick?
too. But
Jesus.
no.
That's how you get flat screen.
Dicks.
No.
Oh no, my bad. That's what they do at the movies. They project that shit onto the walls.
Oh,
There's
okay.
just a guy with a cathode inside of his dick. Just
Oh,
standing
that makes sense. That's why it's always been in a
There-
tube.
there's a cathode dick strike that actually happened in like what was it, 1917, right after
What are
the
you
Russian Revolution. They were really uncomfortable with the conditions. That's all we gotta say.
Anyway, this is about
Sick tangent.
1897, September, over 100 years ago. I know, but it really relates. You're gonna find some similarities here, you guys. All right, September 1897. We're in like a miners. We're miners. All right, we're gonna go on strike. Basically, their conditions were working like between 12 and 14-hour days for 16 days consecutively.
It's nothing.
And they didn't even make 5 cents. They made 4 fucking cents.
For that
Wait,
whole
what?
time? That whole
4 cents
in
for
16
16
days?
days of labor. 16 days of
Jesus.
straight up labor.
Like working in a mine and shit.
Working in a fucking mine.
Sounds like our
for
prison
16
system.
days for about 14 hours a day on average. And you got 4 damn cents.
That legit sounds like what Kamala wants to do to what she wants to do to fucking everybody in her
Prison
country,
system.
probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kamala
Wet dream.
2020. This is done in fucking September of 2020, but still, no.
Fuck Kamala.
Fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala.
Anyway, yeah, so like with 4 cents to your name, all you could afford is like spoiled vegetables to eat and living with livestock. That's it. Those were your
Damn.
lavish living conditions. So these were a bunch of like European immigrants, and obviously they're like taken in as white people now, but they were not at the time. So they were striking because like, okay, so they were part of a union. Here's the sad part. They were definitely part of a union, but the union was like so anti-immigrant at the time that the union didn't care that they had low wages. They didn't care that the rent was high. They didn't care about anything regarding these immigrant laborers.
If your union's like that, get the fuck out. Like,
Yeah.
please. Like, you could stay getting your shit, but like,
You deserve more.
you deserve more. There's other
Yeah.
unions out there. Like,
Yeah, so that's one misconception too, that like people assume that like every union is bad or every union is good. It's like, no, dude, you gotta read the fucking principles behind their specific
Right.
union, because they could be fully like bourgeois run.
corporatized.
Yeah, exactly. So just be corporatized
Yeah.
and be like, oh, it's like a facade of what a fucking union should be. They're just fucking taking more of your money than they would have. As
Yeah,
far
and
as
they're
like
not
the
putting
bad
up-
ones, I'm not saying the good, like the fucking corporate owned fucking unions.
Yeah. Like, that's why I love the IWW, because they are a giant union that you make your own. Like, you have your own specific union for your job. that is
Underneath
run by
them,
you
right?
and your coworkers. Yeah, that's run underneath the IWW. You and your coworkers decide and do all the shit. Like, you decide what your demands are. You decide
Yep.
like everything in the negotiation process. You just have a giant support group, like internationally. You have your chair members for each region of your state that you can contact that will help
Support.
you. And like before COVID, you could be able to like meet up with them in person and talk about all of the conditions that you do want to like you do want better what everybody's feeling, and like they'll try to help you actually have a successful union and have
Actual democracy.
an actual democracy in the workplace and have a successful strike and have as much support as they can provide. So not all union is trash like this one that Satan's describing.
Yeah, exactly.
But if
You
you
have to-
union like this, try to find a different one while you're under it so you can still get your benefits, and then move fucking out of it and get your own voice into your workplace, get your own democracy into your workplace with other fucking unions.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so back to September 1897, miners going on strike. They were on strike for about a month prior to this event that I'm going to describe. It was actually about like 4,000 before that were going on strike simultaneously. After a while you get tired, you can't figure out how to eat, and so then it dwindled down to 400 miners who were still on strike. They took to the streets, they went all the way to the mines, and about 86 police officers opened fire at point blank range. They murdered 25 people. They gravely injured 30 of them. So,
Damn.
4 of the deputies were tried for the murder of one guy because this guy had applied for citizenship recently. And of course, only one of, actually, none of them were found guilty. They were all acquitted. So, as always, fuck the police.
That's fucking crazy. It's fucking nothing's changed. That's
Nothing
fucking
is.
incredible.
I know.
Yeah, it's just fucking gross. Like
Mm-hmm.
like I see, especially like ICE and shit, just like gather up like immigrants like at their fucking just like game. It's just so dumb. And I see that shit, dude. I've seen that shit in the past couple weeks. I've seen that shit 3 times. I work next to in San Diego, next to the border, and there's like a fucking border patrol station, a fucking Gestapo station. Sorry, next to where I work, and like, dude, they just fucking go in the bushes and like look for people, like, and they treat them like shit, dude. Don't like ask them if they need water or anything. Like, oh, give me all your information, and what do you have in your bag? Searching them, there'd be like 20-1, as far as like officers versus fucking people, migrants, just looking for a better life. That U.S. fucking made these situations by destroying the workplaces all over Mexico, Central America, and fucking South America, as far as with like their trade deals. Like, they did all this, and they're like, oh, you gotta go back to your shitty place because you're brown. You don't belong here. It's like, dude, you're an immigrant too. The only people that should be saying that are fucking natives. Fucking, this is their fucking, we're on their land. Nobody else's. Not no white boy's land. It's fucking their land. And any more.
And just in case,
Go ahead.
And just in case any white person is gonna say some bullshit about how nativity doesn't mean being native to a land, I want to specify that when we talk about native people, we're talking about indigenous to the continent,
indigenous
not
Americans.
transplant immigrants from European nations, regardless of what you went for, what you went through.
Exactly. And it would just be fucking, just get, all you have to do is be accepting, like, make sure it's accepting policy. Like, fucking your ancestors were immigrants once. Like, Jesus, like, it's not that hard. It's fucking really not that hard. Yeah. But
and also, if you're white, please, I urge you to pay reparations. Black people, indigenous people need it a lot more than you do.
Yeah.
Unless you're poor, which I get. Yeah. But also, you could probably spare $1 or $2.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the fucking people coming over the southern border have every reason to be here more than fucking anybody of European descent. We're fucking, people from Mexico are Native American. People from Central America are Native American. The fact that Americans are fucking, American stems from a fucking dude who sailed all the way south of fucking Chile.
Man.
Yeah, Italian man comes from, I think it's Americargo or some shit. It's not American, but it stems from a fucking European explorer. So I mean, just the indigenous people of fucking the Americas. Yeah.
But yeah, that was the Latimer massacre. If you want to learn more about it, there were some archaeologists that actually looked at that same site 100 years after it had happened on the anniversary. So 1997, they went and they were like, let's see what we can find, if there's anything remaining. They found glasses, they found herbs, they found dried food, they found seeds, they found clothes. Of course, they found bones. It's so sad to think that none of these poor immigrants that died that day were buried.
Yeah.
They just were
They
left.
Don't give a fuck. Yeah, they don't get proper burial. That's one thing, too, that for my work, we do land surveys. And, like, I've talked to archaeologists who are like, yeah, dude, we've walked up on, like, fucking human skulls just, like, in the middle of the desert. And it's just like, fuck, dude. Like, also on the southern border and shit. And it's just fucking, it's just gross. Shit sucks. It's like the pure.
We gotta honor what they did because they did a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, like, just related to this strike that you just talked about, the massacre. Just something that else that I guess it's a famous strike that happened, or battles, called the Battle of Blair Mountain, that happened in Appalachia. And it was happening around the same time. I think it was the 1870s. Um, and it was just something fucked up that they would do with all of the immigrants. Is like there'd be fresh immigrants coming from Europe, and at the ports they'd be like, "Hey, do you want to go to Paris?" And you're like, "Yeah." It's like, "Yeah, there's a spot like over here in Pennsylvania called Paris," and they just bring them over to a mine, a coal mine that would just be called Paris, or like New Paris or something like that. So they would trick these immigrants who don't speak very much English, or if they do, then they don't know very much about the area clearly, and they're told they're gonna go to like New London, New Paris, like shit like this, and they're just gonna be brought to mining towns where they're just living in like shacks, or like if they're lucky, and then they're gonna be working for pennies a day, and yeah, this.
Are you talking about immigrants right now picking all of our fruits and vegetables?
That too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Like the U.S.'s history behind labor and immigrants specifically, especially just
yeah. It's pretty funny. It's a mess. I mean, it's like so counterintuitive too, because like the ICE will like, oh yeah, we got rid of some illegals. First of all, no human's fucking illegal. It's especially, like I said earlier, Mexican people have every right to be here as much as they do. California should be fucking Mexico first of all, so they go fuck themselves. Even though it was colonized by Spain, fuck that shit too. But anyway, yeah, as far as the farm working, especially in California, I mean, we're sending people back to their homes. It's like, dude, you're like, it's just like it's so 2 times stupid, just because like the corporate overlords benefit from these the migrants coming over to pick those fruits and vegetables in the fields for like fucking nothing, and they still like, oh, we gotta take them back, and it sucks too, because I mean, don't forget about them, like how Satan was saying. It's like the farm workers nowadays fucking very relevant as far as, but it's another double stupid, because like, oh, they're sending them back, so they don't even have any chance to fucking settle. It's like, okay, season's over for picking, we're just gonna send you back, and you have to spend all that money to get back to the country to fucking work again. It's fucking ridiculous.
And all this because of a fucking liberal, Bill Clinton. Not all because of him, but he fucking passed and pushed NAFTA so fucking hard. Fuck that guy. Fuck Hillary Clinton, and just Bo Biden. I'm just gonna say fuck it, Bo Biden.
Billy Bob Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking nursing home Bo Biden. Just fuck all these people. Like, stop just simping for all these fucking politicians that are all pieces of shit just because they're not Trump. Like,
yeah,
that's tired. Do your, like, I hate saying do your research, but also fuck these people and do your research.
Google is free.
Google is free.
Yeah.
By the way, we pay the most out of any other nation in the world to have access to the internet, which is total bullshit. Other countries pay less than $10 a month. Anyway.
And that's also because of Bill Clinton and his like pretty much stopping the laws against monopolies in the United States.
Yep.
Yeah.
So America's fucked. We're pretty fucked.
It is fucked.
Failed state. We said it.
That's why guns are good.
Yeah. Yes. guns are good. Yeah, and like I guess like just tying it forward to the current like labor force strikes and stuff in the United States that are happening right now. It wasn't covered pretty much at all by the mainstream media, but there were
over 365 strikes.
And that was up to June, I think, since the start of COVID. Wildcat strikes, or wild snail strikes, as this episode is called, of just workers realizing how fucked it is of a situation that they're in, like working and not being compensated, not being supported, or not being protected by their bosses. So they're all going on strike. Yeah. And I 100% support that shit.
We love to see it.
We love to see it.
But just make sure everybody's safe, folks. Make sure you're wearing a correct mask. That's like, especially in crowds of people. It's kind of double-edged sword. It's like, yeah, we got to protest, but then there's also COVID too we got to worry about, where like that shit can just end us altogether. And like, especially if people who are immune like sensitive,
compromised.
you gotta immune compromised. You really got to be thoughtful, because a lot of people would, like myself. I would want to be out there, but see, my mother who just got cancer recently, don't want to fucking fuck that shit up. So I really want to go out there and walk with y'all, but sucks that some people are in a situation. Just gotta walk and make sure to protest with a meaning, just not nonsense. Make sure there's a direction.
Yeah. Don't wear a bandana. I know it looks cool, but do not wear a bandana. That thing does not help you at all. Like
just like voting for Joe Biden.
Just like voting for Joe Biden. That
You're gonna die both ways.
Yeah. Yeah, so wear, like, if you can get your hands on a KN95 or N95.
I just bought a bunch recently on eBay. They're pretty cheap. I think about 50 for like $10 or something.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. So bandanas, gaiters, no good.
Yeah.
Don't wear those, please.
Unless they have filters.
Yeah.
Surgical masks, KN95s, preferable. Sorry, we just gotta keep everybody safe. Because thank everybody who's listening. All the thousands and thousands of people that listen to this podcast.
Millions of people.
Trillions of followers, intergalactically.
Hell yeah.
We just want to say thank you for putting in the work if you are out there. But just the COVID thing, crisis creates radicalization. That's something that
today's the day. If you were looking for a sign, this is it. This is it.
Like, rest in peace, George Floyd, but he is not the reason that this started.
Nope.
We need to understand that materially. Because the only reason this thing popped off as hard as it did is because of COVID. It's because of everybody losing their jobs. Like, almost 40% of the entire United States is at risk of eviction. And that's why people are out in the streets. That's why people are ready to throw down with the cops. It's not because of George Floyd.
They have nothing to lose anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, people have nothing to lose anymore.
When they have nothing to lose but their chains, that's when shit starts to go down. I like to say that, like, when people can't get their daily bread, that's when things starts happening. And that's exactly what's fucking happening here.
Yeah. And don't fall for the fucking bullshit propaganda that, like, Biden and stuff, this fucking gigantic facade they put up of we discussed it last time too, as far as with distracting you with, like, race issues. It's just like, Nike, all fucking, or Black Lives Matters. Like, it's not, they're not standing for you.
But yeah, like, Joe Biden has even said that he's not going to do shit about this. Like,
he's actually gonna fund the police more. He already promised that.
Not even just that, but he said that he's not going to give us Medicare for all to pay for the fucking pandemic where people are fucking dying, like medical going up to like $1 million plus because of COVID complications, and he's not going to provide Medicare for all for that shit.
Nope.
Why are you voting for him? None of this is real.
He's if you're going to say that he's going to put good cabinet positions in. He wants to put Bloomberg into his cabinet, and like his tax.
Into the history.
Look into fucking.
Yeah, look at his background.
Cop Malo wanted to keep, like, multiple people who are on death row. Even after they were proved innocent. Like, fuck all these people. Stop deluding yourself into thinking that you're actually doing harm reduction, because you're still gonna put the same fucking people in prison. Because Joe Biden created a fucking crime bill. You're going to have the prosecutor in chief, VP, as the vice president, who's going to still want to put all these fucking people in. Like, this isn't harm reduction, people. Like, actually look into it. Fucking look into it. Joe Biden has more blood on his hands than Trump wishes that he would have.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. But on that note, so, yeah. So, is this the end?
The end of the world, probably. I just got my first breath of fresh air in a month after California's been on fire.
That's fucking crazy.
So since mid-July.
No, not mid-July.
Oh no, since August.
Since August, yeah.
Nice. Just in time for another fire.
Hell yeah.
Start of fire season. Everything's fucked. Joe Biden created most of the things for the reason why it's fucked. This is a happy episode.
Yeah, it was great. It was definitely great.
But, yeah, if you're interested, look into more of the labor stuff. Like,
if you know some stuff, share some stuff.
There you go. Yeah, look into the IWW. If you hate your boss, if you don't hate your boss, you should still look into the IWW because you can still get paid better. You could still probably get better insurance. You could still get more days off. Yeah, this is Harm Reduction. And this was the Baked Beans Brigade podcast. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on whatever social medias we create because we're brand new. And we'll probably link them in the description or in our bio when we do that. This was
and AJ. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to our very depressing podcast today. Sorry it was
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yep.
Happy 9/11.
See ya. Tune in for next time. Blue Team rules!
Wait. Okay, so we're going to be covering the debate next week.
September 29th.
September 29th, we're gonna get lit and it's gonna be fun. That's it.
Goodbye.